Good morning. It's just past 5 o'clock on a Friday. On a Friday morning, which is obviously not normal for me. I'm normally at work, so I took the day off. I'm going fishing in Oxford, a little place called Milton Pools Fishery. I've never heard of it. Well, I've heard of it before, but I've never fished it before. Going for carp and catfish. I've got today, so Friday night, Saturday night, and I'll be gone Sunday morning. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Car is absolutely packed. It's a bit dark still, but yeah, it's packed to the roof. And hopefully it'll be a good session. I've got my brother-in-law, Mike, who's going to be joining me as of tomorrow for 24 hours. So yeah, we'll see what we can catch, and I'll see you when I get there. Well, I have arrived at Milton Pools Fishery. It looks absolutely beautiful. Stunning lake. Let me just swing this round. So this is the double swim that I'm in. So there's only me at the moment. My brother-in-law arrives tomorrow. But we've got all this water here. So this kind of bay almost. The next swim is there, but that's on the other side of this island. And then there's nothing really over this side apart from all the way over there, which is again on the other side of the island. So it's pretty ideal location-wise. The only downside is I spoke to 3 of the anglers that have been on here, and nothing's been caught in 6 or 7 days. Nothing at all. There's a fellow on the other bank who's been here for 2 weeks. And he's lost a couple of catfish. That's it. So it's could end up being just a nice camping trip. Don't know how loud it's going to be at night either, because also over there, I believe that is the M40. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, so it could be loud at night, but we'll see. Also with the peg comes this. It's a double swim, so we've got a nice big shack, pagoda. So there's plenty of room in here for me and Mike. Stay out of the rain, which is quite handy. It saves bringing a bivvy. Here's all the kit, well, most of the kit. I've just got to go back and get the rods and the bait. So yeah, it's choosing where to fish. Technically, I mean, I could fish all the way over there. I could cast onto the bank all the way over there from here and fish it next to this island. Don't know. I'll come up with a game plan shortly. Right, the camp is halfway set up. I'm just going to show you where I'm going to fish the 2 rods. So we've got the 2 rods on a pod, literally just outside the door here. Right hand rod, I am going to fish towards this gap here. A bit iffy for the night, but during the day it'll be fine. Left hand side, I'm going to fish this gap here in the lilies. Now to do that, luckily I've got my old trusty baiting pole with me. So it doesn't reach all the way in, but then that's fine with me. Just inside the opening there is good. Absolutely fine with me. And I can bait up using that as well. Right, let's get the rods out. So to wrap up the rods to get them on the spot every time, it's literally as simple as using a couple of distance sticks, marking them, you know, as long as your rod. I'm using 10-foot scopes, so they're 10 foot apart. And then you just put the lead one end, keep wrapping around the sticks until you hit your clip on the reel. And then hopefully I shouldn't be in the bush. Many times I have still managed to hit the bush, and I don't know how, but I think it's probably just hitting it a little bit too hard. But yeah, we'll give that a go. So 9 3/4 wraps, which is not very far out at all, but then it is only that little opening behind me there, so it's not far at all. Right, let's get this rod in position, and then we're actually fishing. Gonna take a weight off, have a sit down, have a brew. It's getting quite warm as well. Need to get this hoodie off. Right, just going to let the line settle for a minute. Whilst it's doing that, I'll get get a few boilies with a catapult over there. I'm crap with a catapult. There's no way around it. I'm just never been very good with a catapult. Not distance anyway. Well, not this is much distance, but it's that awkward kind of distance where they're either going to be around my feet or in the bush. So I won't chuck loads out. I don't think there's going to be much chance of a bite today anyway, but we'll see. We'll get a few out. And I got this, like a bigger one, feeding these, which is Monster Baits Beast Boilies. They're like a krill sort of flavour, and they smell rancid, so hopefully they'll work. So let's get these out. We'll try. Pretty good. Try and hit the ducks at the same time. A little bit too far. Nearly on the island. Not far enough. Well, I've been here a few hours now. It's now about 11:30, and not a sausage. Seen a few tiny little fish. I assume they're little roach or something topping. But not a carp roll, cat roll, nothing at all. I just got the marker rod out, had a little mark around the area, a lot of weed in the middle, so I think I'll stick to the margins. Either around the island seems okay, or the near margin is alright as well. Don't know what else to try really. I'll probably keep the same spots. Well, I'll keep my right hand rod at the moment, which is at the island. I'm going to keep that one there. I'm going to move my left hand rod to the right hand side of the swim and fish the margin. There's a lily bed and it drops in front of it. I just had a mark around. Most of the lake is 5 to 7 foot and the margins are about 3 foot, but there's like a 5 foot hole in front of the lily pads to my right. So I'll put some bait in there, but I'll leave it for the day. I'll just trickle some bait in here and there, and then I'll drop a rod on it for the night, I think. Hopefully something happens, but let's fishing. better. Nice cup of coffee. Well, I've set up my side of the abode for the next couple of days. So obviously bed chair is to the left. All my bags, my iPad, which is my entertainment for when it's quiet, which it is at the moment, but I'll be sat out there most of the time just watching the water. I'm only in here because I'm just about to have some lunch. So yeah, Mike's side will be over there. Could do a bit of a clean in here, but it's not dirty. It's just, well, it is dirty, but it's not too bad. Just a bit of mud and grass on the floor. So yeah, just chill out here for a little while, have some lunch, then just carry on, I suppose. It's the problem with these kind of day ticket waters, lots of day ticket waters, in fact, especially at the moment with how things are, you kind of have to book your swims in advance. You know, and it was even worse for me. I've never even been to this fishery before, so I've got no idea what the swims even look like. So, you know, I booked this one purely because it had quite a lot of water, you know, nice big bay. And there's no chance of moving because all the other pods around the place are taken. So it's not like there's much in the way of stalking opportunities or trying different areas. This is the area that we have, and that's it. Well, I've baited a couple of spots, and I'm just going to keep an eye on everything. If I see a fish show, I've got a rig set up, like a stiff hinged rig. That was called stiff hinged rig, does that sound right? Hinge stiff rig? Maybe it's a hinge stiff rig. Ready to go with a pop-up on it, just so if I do see a fish, I'll just fire it straight at it. And, well, we can only but try. Well, it's very, very quiet. I don't think anyone around the lake has had a fish. You know, it's quite a small lake, so you can kind of see everyone. Yeah, I don't know. Tried a couple of different spots. Got a pellet on one and a boilie on the other. I've switched from a pop-up, a trimmed down pop-up, a pink pop-up, to like a quite heavily glugged bottom bait with some dust over the top of it to make it look nice. Nothing at all. Hopefully maybe it's a night water. You know, I haven't fished here before. Maybe more of the bites come at night. I'm going to change the spot slightly at night though, mainly because the left-hand rod is basically in a bush in between lilies. If I was to get a run on that, no matter how quick I got to the rod, especially if there's a cat, the chances are it would be gone, lost, and not one for risking the fish. So that one I'm going to change to where my right-hand rod is at the moment, in front of the island, and my right-hand rod will be in front of the lilies, which are to the right of the swim. I've been trickling bait in there sort of most of the day, so yeah, hopefully something will happen at night. I'll just quickly show you my solid bags that I'm using today. This is my PVA, my solid bag sort of bucket that I keep them in. I've got a few made up. The ones I put the little red tab on, these are pink pop-ups inside, only because I can't see them and I'll forget. You know, they're really solid little bags. And at the moment I've been using, where's one without a tag on? Like this, these Gemini leaders. You literally just tie a loop in the end of your main line, loop it through, and attach the bag. Nice and easy. The first session I've used them. So yeah, so far so good. I do have some, like this one here, I've just tied up. This one's on an actual leadless lead core leader. And the base, or the pellet mix, or the solid bag mix, should I say, is some tiny 2mm krill pellets, some fishy sort of stick mix in there, and some crushed boilies, and all filled, sort of glugged. Well, I made this about a week ago, and then put some of the bait gravy, some Beast, which is a krill bait gravy, in there, mixed it all up, left it for a couple of days, added a bit more, and then added a bit more yesterday before I made the bags. So yeah, simple, but normally quite effective, but just not today. But we'll see how it goes during the night. Well, the night's drawing in. Still no fish. Not quite sure what to do. I've baited the margin spot up just now again, and towards the island is where I'm going to fish at night, those two spots. Not much else I can do really. Sadly, you can't surface fish or zig fish here either, otherwise my only other thought was they're slightly higher up in the water than what I'm fishing, but I can't target them there anyway. So, a slight change up. I'm going to go with a standard bottom bait, which has been glugged a bit on the island, rather than a wafter, and I'm going to go with a bigger pellet in the margins and see what happens. I just brought back this pellet and it's quite badly chewed. I don't know whether that's just all the small fish that are in here or if there's crayfish in here. Oh, we'll see what happens. I'll get the rods back out shortly. Well, that's about it for the day. The night is drawing in, still no fish, but I've been speaking to a couple of guys on the other side of the bank. They fish here quite a lot, and they said it's a good night water. You know, not a lot happens during the day. Randomly, you're more likely to catch the catfish during the day, which is odd. But yeah, supposedly it's a good night water. Between the hours of 10 and 2, it can be quite prolific, supposedly, sometimes, or you'll either have a few or you'll have none, is basically what he said. So, yeah, that'll probably be me signing off, unless something comes during the night, in which case I'll probably get the fish in and then film when it's on the mat, because it'll make life easier. Hopefully, the next bit of video that you see will be me holding a fish during the hours of darkness. If not, it'll be the morning and fishless. But we'll see. Good morning. Absolutely horrendous night's sleep. The alarms were going off all night, but just like a bleep. In the end, well, it was mainly in my left-hand rod that was next to the island. But in the end, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, I had to just reel it in because I needed to get some sleep. Right-hand rod didn't do a thing all night. So yeah. Absolutely shattered. Just gonna make myself a coffee and think what to do for the day. But whatever I've been doing, which is mainly solid bag fishing over a bit of bait, it hasn't worked at all. So new plan for the day. Just gotta think of what that's gonna be. I'm gonna have a coffee, a bit of a chill for a moment, then make myself some breakfast. Breakfast is served. Well, the morning's going pretty much as yesterday morning went. It's pretty dead. It's very, very busy now though. The bank on the other side has now got people, or to the right of me has now got people on it, which I didn't even know they were swimmers, but it turns out they are. So it's literally pinned me into a corner. Yeah, so it's not great. Let me just switch this round. So the brother-in-law Mike has joined me. He's going to be fishing here. He's fishing out towards the island where I was yesterday. As I didn't really have much luck, I didn't really have a problem moving, so my plan was to go long to this bush in the distance over here, there, with my left-hand rod, and the right-hand rod would be down here somewhere. But there's now people there and there, so my left-hand rod is about where that duck is, where the bailiff said it's a good area. 2 to 3 rod lengths out. It's supposed to be quite good. And my right-hand rod is towards the bushes over here, sort of right about there. But I don't know if they're just day fishing or not. If they're not here for the night, then I will go back to plan A and fish long with my left-hand rod, and the right-hand rod I'll fish halfway along the margin. Just started to rain as well. Later on it's supposed to absolutely hammer down. So the barbecue will be interesting. Well, the sun's just going down in the distance, over there. Still nothing, but I'm hopeful for the night. There's been a lot of movement in the last few hours. It's about 8 o'clock now, just about to have a barbecue and get fed, and hopefully the fish will have a feed. Hopefully, I'll have one shortly. Mike, without swearing, sum up today, 3 words.
Bloody crap pants.
Okay, I could do that. The thing that could give us the runs. Barbecue is on. Nice. Beautiful. Well, good morning. That was the last night. Had a run at about 1 o'clock, but lasted for about 2 seconds and came off. Not that ideal. About an hour till we need to pack up and go. So it's looking like a 48-hour blank for me. Oh well, there's always next time. Well, that's it. All over. Back in the car. Packed up. Gone. I mean, it's a shame I didn't catch anything. I must admit, I'm gutted that I didn't catch anything. I had a run this morning, but just didn't get to it in time. Well, I said I didn't get to it in time. It was, by the time I got out of bed, it was gone. It was off. So, but I can see the potential in the place. It looks absolutely stunning. You know, it's an absolutely beautiful place. I mean, the little pagodas you sleep in, you know, they're all right. You know, they're warm. You know, they're really, really handy to have rather than carrying around your bivvy. But yeah, I think could I have done anything differently? I don't know. You know, I fished 4 different setups. You know, I had like a slip D rig, and then I had a standard bottom bait rig. I used a hinge stiff rig, and I used solid bags. So you know, I used a few different baits. You know, krill boilies, 2 different sort of brands of krill boilies. I used a pink fluoro pop-up, a white fluoro pop-up, a yellow fluoro pop-up, pellets. You know, I went for everything. I think it was just one of those days. You know, I only saw one other fish landed, and that was randomly a pike. I don't know what he was using, but so yeah, it's just one of them. I'll definitely return, definitely, because I feel there's potential in there. You know, there's supposedly some massive carp and some massive cats in there, plus pike to 30 pound. So I might head back there in the winter as well with some dead baits. So yeah, that's the end of that. So please like and subscribe the video and hit the notification button for more new uploads, and I will see you next time.